The darkness isn't total. Streetlights bleed through the gap in the curtains, casting long, familiar shadows across the bedroom ceiling. I lie perfectly still, my breathing measured, slow, mimicking sleep. Beside me, Mia shifts. The faint blue glow of her phone illuminates her face, just for a second, before she angles it away. Déjà vu washes over me, cold and heavy. I know exactly what she's doing. I know who she's texting. Alex. Always Alex. I've been here before, in this exact moment, trapped in this same suffocating stillness. I don't need to look at the clock on the nightstand. I know the time. 3:17 a.m., the witching hour for betrayal. She taps away silently, her thumb a blur in the dim light. Then, a soft sigh escapes her lips before she carefully places the phone back on her nightstand, screen down. She turns, snuggling closer, her arm draping over my chest. Her breathing evens out. Genuine sleep this time. Mine remains a careful performance. I remember the first time. The gut-wrenching discovery. The shouting match that ripped through the apartment at dawn. Her tears, hot and staining my t-shirt. The desperate promises. It meant nothing. It'll never happen again. You're the only one I love. And like a fool, I'd believed her. We'd spent years after that trying to glue the pieces back together, a miserable, exhausting effort built on lies. Years until the real betrayal, the one involving almost everyone I trusted, finally came to light, shattering what little remained. But this time is different. The script has changed because I have changed. I know the game now. I know the players. I know exactly who my real enemies are, hiding behind smiles and sympathetic words. My plan is already in motion. Quiet steps taken in the shadows they created. I keep my eyes closed, letting the feigned sleep hold me steady. Let her think everything is fine. Let them all think it. Their downfall is already written. The clatter of expensive brunch plates echoes slightly in the trendy cafe. Sunlight streams through the large windows, glinting off the silverware. Across the small table, Mia beams, looking radiant. Next to her, her older sister, Eliza, leans in to give me a hug that feels just a fraction too tight, her perfume momentarily overwhelming. "Oh, Mark, you look tired," Eliza says, her voice dripping with faux concern. "Working too hard?" "Something like that," I murmur, forcing a smile. "Well, you deserve a treat," she continues, turning her bright smile on Mia. You should definitely get the lobster Benedict and a mimosa, or 3. She winks, a conspiratorial glint in her eyes. She knows I always pick up the tab, always. My mind flashes back. A memory from the first life, sharp and painful. Overhearing Eliza talking to Mia on the phone, her voice low but distinct through the thin apartment walls. "Honestly, a little fun on the side? What he doesn't know won't hurt him. You deserve to be happy. Mark's sweet, but predictable." Predictable. Easy to fool. That's what they thought. Eliza, the supportive sister, actively encouraging the infidelity that started the rot. "Lobster sounds amazing," Mia agrees, already flagging down the waiter, completely oblivious to the storm brewing behind my polite facade. I nod, pretending to study the menu, the words blurring. They see me as the stable, slightly boring provider, the safe bet. They have no idea. Later that day, back at the office, the fluorescent lights hum overhead. I'm trying to focus on a spreadsheet, but the numbers swim. "Hey, man, rough morning?" Jake claps me on the shoulder, his grin wide and familiar, my supposed best friend since college. "Just brunch with Mia and Eliza," I say, keeping my tone light. "Ah, the sisters." He leans against my cubicle wall. "So, what are you two lovebirds up to this weekend? Anything exciting?" Lovebirds. The word feels like acid in my gut. I remember in agonizing detail how Jake played his part in the first life, always there with a sympathetic ear when Mia and I hit a rough patch, always ready with advice, usually slanted in her favor. "She just needs space, Mark," he'd say. "Don't pressure her." He was the shoulder she cried on, and then eventually he became so much more. The text exchanges I found later, they weren't just comforting a friend. They were planning secret meetings, mocking my blindness. My best friend. Stabbed in the back doesn't even begin to cover it. "Not sure yet," I reply, forcing another smile. "Probably just relaxing." Cool. Well, let me know if you guys want to grab a beer later." He gives my shoulder another squeeze before heading back to his desk. My stomach knots tight. Relaxing? No. Plotting? Yes. The meeting with Richard, Mia's father, is scheduled for 5 p.m. at his golf club. The air inside smells faintly of leather, old money, and subtle condescension. He wants to discuss Mia's surprise birthday party. A thin excuse, I know now. Richard greets me with a firm handshake and a smile that doesn't quite reach his eyes. He gestures for me to sit in one of the plush armchairs overlooking the manicured green. "Mark, good to see you. Drink?" "Just water, thanks, Richard." He orders himself a scotch, neat. The small talk is brief before he gets to the real point. "So, Mia tells me things are going well at the firm? Any promotions on the horizon?" His questions are casual, but the undertone is pure interrogation. He assesses my suit, my watch, my answers. I remember standing outside their kitchen door during a family gathering years ago, in the first life. I'd gone to get a drink, but stopped when I heard Richard's low voice. "Mia, darling, he's a nice enough boy, but are you sure? You could do so much better. Financially, I mean. Stability is important." He thought I couldn't hear him. He thought I was just the nice boy, easily dismissed, not worthy of his daughter, unless I proved my monetary value. His contempt, thinly veiled then, is barely hidden now behind the polite inquiries. "Things are steady," I answer evenly, meeting his gaze. "Looking at a few different opportunities, actually, weighing my options." I let a hint of confidence, of potential, hang in the air. Let him wonder. He nods slowly, sipping his scotch. Good. A man needs ambition." His smile tightens. He doesn't like uncertainty, especially when it comes to his perceived control over his daughter's life, and by extension, her partner. This meeting isn't about a party. It's about evaluating the asset, me. Back home, the apartment feels charged with unspoken things. Mia is humming in the kitchen, making dinner. My phone buzzes on the coffee table. I glance down. A notification preview. It's her phone, linked to the shared tablet I sometimes use. A text from Alex W. "Tomorrow night? Same place? 8? My breath hitches. Alex. Not just a work colleague, as she'd claimed for months in the first life. Alex, her secret lover. The discovery then had felt like a physical blow, knocking the wind out of me. I'd found explicit emails, hotel receipts tucked away. It had confirmed the worst fears that had been gnawing at me. The confrontation that followed was volcanic, eclipsing even the first fight about the texting. More tears, more promises, more lies. This time, seeing the text barely makes my heart rate climb. It's expected. It's part of the pattern I now recognize. Mia comes into the living room, wiping her hands on a dish towel. "Dinner's almost ready. Everything okay? You seem quiet." I look up, summon a smile that feels alien on my face. "Yeah, perfect. Just tired. Think I might hit the gym for a bit after we eat. Clear my head." "Oh, okay," she says. A flicker of something, disappointment, suspicion. crossing her face before she smooths it away. Don't be too late. I won't, I lie. The rhythmic clang of weights and the low thumping bass of gym music fill the air. It's a temporary escape, a place to channel the simmering anger into physical exertion. As I head towards the locker room, I nearly bump into Vanessa, Mia's supposed best friend. Mark! Hey! Her voice is overly bright, her smile wide. Vanessa, the bubbly, supportive friend. How are you? How are things with Mia? You guys still being disgustingly cute? Hey, Vanessa. Yeah, all good, I say, keeping it brief. My skin crawls remembering her role. In the first life, she was the confidant, the one Mia supposedly vented to. But later, I discovered Vanessa had been feeding Mia doubts, subtly undermining our relationship, perhaps eyeing Mia's potential connections, or maybe just enjoying the drama. She played the concerned friend to my face while dissecting our relationship behind my back. That's great, so happy for you guys, she gushes. Well, gotta run, spin class, catch you later. She waves and bounces off. I head into the locker room, the scent of sweat and disinfectant sharp in the air. As I'm changing, I hear a familiar voice from around the corner, near the sinks. It's Vanessa on her phone, her voice lowered but still carrying in the tiled space. Honestly, I give them 6 months, tops, she's saying. He's just so vanilla. And Mia? She needs excitement. Between you and me, I think she's already got someone on the side. Good for her, though. Mark's nice, but he's not exactly endgame material, you know? A short, dismissive laugh. Anyway, gotta go. Class is starting. I stand frozen, the damp towel in my hand. She has no idea I'm here, just feet away, listening to every poisonous word. The confirmation stings, even though I expected it. Vanilla. Not endgame material. The casual cruelty, the utter hypocrisy. They all wear masks. Mia, Eliza, Jake, Richard, Vanessa. A circle of smiling vipers. And I, the fool they thought they could play forever. Not anymore. The game has changed. The rules are mine now. The shift is subtle at first. I start working late more often. Phone calls taken in the other room, vague answers about projects and deadlines. I become quieter, more preoccupied. When Mia asks what's wrong, I wave it off. Just stress at work, babe. Big project coming up. Her brow furrows with concern, but beneath it, I see something else. A flicker of unease? Or perhaps relief that my attention is elsewhere? She still texts Alex, I know she does. I see the quick, furtive glances at her phone, the slight smiles she tries to hide. But now, something new is happening. I catch her checking the location sharing app on her phone more frequently. A worried frown replaces the hidden smile. Where am I going during these late nights? The seeds of doubt, planted by my distance, are starting to sprout in her mind. Good. Let her wonder. Let her feel a fraction of the uncertainty I lived with for years. My late nights aren't spent hunched over a desk. One evening, I'm sitting in a sterile office, fluorescent lights humming overhead, across from a sharp-suited woman named Sarah Jenkins, a real estate agent. So, Mr. Evans, she says, tapping her pen on the file in front of her. You're sure about selling? The market's good, but co-owned properties can sometimes get complicated if both parties aren't fully aligned. I'm aligned, I say firmly. My co-owner isn't fully aware yet. But legally, I have the right to initiate the sale. The property was purchased primarily with funds from an inheritance I received. Funds she doesn't know the full extent of. Sarah raises an eyebrow slightly, but nods. Business is business. Okay, we'll need to move quickly and discreetly then. Do you have the documentation regarding the source of funds? Right here, I say, sliding a folder across the desk. As she reviews the papers, my mind drifts to the apartment. Our apartment. The place Mia had redecorated with such enthusiasm, using money I provided. The place where, in my first life, she'd hosted Alex while I was away on a supposed vital business trip that Jake had encouraged me to take. I remember coming home early, finding a strange, expensive bottle of wine open on the counter, a scent of unfamiliar cologne lingering in the air. The denial then had been fierce, convincing. This time, the memory fuels my resolve. Selling it out from under her feels like reclaiming something stolen. It's just the beginning. Dinner at Mia's parents' house is always a performance. Tonight, Richard is holding court, expansive after 2 glasses of expensive red wine. Eliza and her husband, Tom, are there, along with Mia and me. "Mark, my boy," Richard booms, swirling his wine. "I was telling Tom about that investment opportunity I mentioned to you. The one in commercial real estate development. Shame you passed it up last time. Real shame." He shoots me a look that's meant to be knowing, but is laced with his usual superiority. He offered me a small, disadvantageous piece of a deal in the first life, clearly designed to keep me indebted or under his thumb. I'd politely declined then, sensing the trap. This time I lean forward, adopting an expression of keen interest. "Actually, Richard, I've been rethinking that. My financial situation has shifted recently. I might be in a position to reconsider if the offer still stands." Richard looks momentarily surprised, then pleased. The prospect of having me financially entangled clearly appeals to him. Well, ambition, I like it. Of course it stands. We'll need to move fast, though. There are certain complexities, ways we structure things to maximize returns, you understand, minimizing the tax burden. He lowers his voice conspiratorially. Requires a bit of creative accounting, but the profits are substantial. Perfect. I nod seriously, making sure my phone, tucked into my breast pocket, is recording everything. I understand completely, Richard. Creative accounting, maximizing returns. Tell me more. Let him dig his own grave. He thinks he's reeling me in, but he's the one swallowing the bait. Eliza catches my eye and gives me a subtle, encouraging smile. "Good boy, play along." "Oh, I'm playing, Eliza. Just not the game you think." A few days later, I'm scrolling through my emails when I accidentally position my laptop screen so Mia can see it as she walks past with laundry. Open on the screen is an email chain seemingly innocuous messages between Jake and Mia. "Coffee soon?" from him. "Definitely. Need to vent. Free Thors?" from her. "Perfect. Usual spot." From him. In the first life, messages like these were the breadcrumbs leading to the full-blown affair. Innocent on the surface, but loaded with the history I now knew. The venting sessions that became something else entirely. My past self would have felt a surge of suspicion, maybe even confronted Mia. My current self feels nothing but cold calculation. Later that day, I called Jake. "Hey man, got a minute?" "Sure, what's up?" "Listen, I came across this investment opportunity. Tech startup, ground floor. Looks like a sure thing. Seriously disruptive potential. I'm putting a chunk in myself, but I thought of you. Interested?" I feed him the details of a company I know, from the first timeline, is destined for a spectacular crash and burn. It was a footnote in the financial news then, but I remembered the name. Jake's interest is immediate. "Oh yeah? Send me the details. Always looking for the next big thing." He sounds excited, greedy, perfect. "Will do," I say smoothly. "Just wanted to give my best mate first dibs." Let him pour his money into that black hole. It's a down payment on the misery he caused me. The final piece of this loop falls into place when I check the online statement for the joint account Mia and I share. Small withdrawals, $200 here, $300 there. Adding up over the past few weeks. Not huge amounts, but enough to be noticeable. Cash withdrawals, mostly. For what? Lunches with Alex? Secret gifts? Weekend trips? In the first life, I'd ignored it. then later confronted her clumsily, leading to more denials and deflections. "It was for your birthday present. I bought Eliza something. Just needed some walking around money." This time, I don't say a word. I go to my bank the next day during my lunch break. I open a new personal account under my name only. I initiate a transfer of the vast majority of my personal funds, including the bulk of the inheritance money, into the new account. I leave just enough in the joint account to cover upcoming bills and avoid immediate suspicion. Then, I meticulously download and save every statement showing her withdrawals, documenting the dates and amounts. Evidence, quietly gathered, ready to be deployed when the time is right. I close the banking app, a strange sense of calm settling over me. The pieces are moving. The board is set. Mia comes home, kisses me hello, asks about my day. I smile back, tell her it was fine. The lie tastes like progress. The email arrives on a Tuesday morning. An offer from Sterling Chase, a major competitor to my current firm. It's unexpected, yet completely familiar. This exact offer came through in the first life. Better title, significant pay increase, more responsibility. And a relocation package, a generous one, to a city hundreds of miles away. In the first life, I'd been thrilled but hesitant. Mia hadn't wanted to leave the city. Her family was here, her friends, her burgeoning career, helped, I later realized, by connections I unknowingly provided. Out of loyalty, misguided love, whatever you want to call it, I had turned Sterling Chase down. I'd chosen us, our life here, over my own ambition. What a fool I'd been. This time, there is no hesitation. I read the offer carefully, noting the details of the relocation assistance, the start date, the signing bonus. Within the hour, I draft my acceptance email. Secretly, of course. I save it as a draft, ready to send when the moment is right. The thought of leaving this city, this apartment, this web of deceit, feels like breathing fresh air for the first time in years. Relocation. A clean break. It's not just a job offer, it's an escape hatch. The party is loud, throbbing music mixing with laughter and chatter. It's hosted by one of Mia's clients, a sea of faces I barely know. Mia is working the room, networking, flashing her brilliant smile. I'm nursing a drink near the edge of the crowd when I see them. Eliza and Vanessa, huddled together near the bar, heads close. I drift closer, pretending to look for someone. "Can't believe he's still so clueless," Eliza is saying, swirling her cocktail. "Mia deserves someone who can keep up with her, you know? Mark's just comfortable, safe." "Totally," Vanessa agrees, lowering her voice slightly, though not enough. "She's definitely keeping her options open with Alex. Smart girl. Gotta have a backup plan, right? Mark's sweet, but he's not exactly playing in the big leagues." They share a smirk. The casual dismissal, the assumption of my ignorance, it used to wound me. Now it just solidifies my resolve. Instead of retreating, I walk over, a pleasant smile fixed on my face. "Eliza, Vanessa, having fun?" They both jump slightly, their smiles snapping back into place a little too brightly. "Mark! Yes, great party," Eliza gushes. "Just talking about Mia's latest project. She's doing amazing work," Vanessa adds smoothly. "She really is," I agree warmly. "You both look great tonight." While exchanging pleasantries, my fingers are busy under the cover of the crowd. On my phone, I navigate to a pre-drafted anonymous email. Attached are several files, screenshots of hotel bookings, intimate messages, photos I'd discreetly obtained weeks ago, evidence of Eliza's own long-running affair with a married colleague. I address it to Tom, Eliza's unsuspecting husband. Subject line: "Something you need to see. With a final, friendly nod to the women, I press send. The email disappears into the digital ether. Let the fallout begin. Their judgment of my life is irrelevant. Their own secrets are far more damaging. A few days later, Jake calls, his voice tight with anxiety. Mark, hey, listen, about that investment. Things are moving faster than expected. The next funding round closes this week. I need to get the capital in ASAP. Problem is, I'm a bit short right now. Any chance you could, float me a loan? Just until my commission check comes in next month. It's a sure thing, remember? The desperation. It's starting. In the first life, he'd borrowed money for some vague emergency. Money I never saw again. That was before I knew he was sleeping with Mia. This time, the request is tied directly to the doomed investment I steered him towards. Oh, wow, Jake, that's tough timing, I say, injecting reluctance into my voice. Things are a bit tight for me too right now, prepping for this big project. But look, you're my best mate. How much do you need? He names a significant sum, enough to cause him serious pain when it vanishes. Okay, I sigh, making it sound like a huge sacrifice. Okay, I can cover it. But Jake, man, I really need this back next month, okay? Seriously. Absolutely, Mark. You're a lifesaver. I swear you won't regret this. This thing is going to pay off big time. His relief is palpable. I hope so, buddy, I say. I transfer the money later that day, knowing full well it's gone forever. He won't regret it? Oh, he will. He'll regret ever crossing me. He thinks I'm saving him. I'm just pushing him closer to the edge. The following weekend, Mia starts talking about a girls' trip. Just her, Vanessa, and a couple of others she vaguely mentions. A spa weekend upstate, she says. Relaxing, recharging. Her packing tells a different story. New lingerie I've never seen. A slinky dress definitely not meant for spa lounging. I check the shared calendar. The dates align perfectly with Alex's supposed business conference out of town. The destination she names is vague, the details scarce. In the first life, this trip, or one very much like it, happened. I'd felt uneasy, suspicious, but lacked proof. I'd let her go, swallowing my doubts. This time I smile brightly. That sounds amazing, babe. You deserve a break. Have so much fun. Don't worry about a thing here. Her relief is visible. Thanks, Mark. I'll miss you. She kisses me, a quick peck, already mentally checked out. Miss you too, I lie smoothly. The moment her car pulls away from the curb on Friday evening, my own operation kicks into high gear. The real estate agent, Sarah, has the final paperwork ready. The buyer is eager, offering well above asking price for a quick, hassle-free closing, facilitated, subtly, by connections I've recently activated. I spend the weekend finalizing the sale documents online. Simultaneously, I arrange for movers, not for the whole apartment, just for my things. My clothes, my books, personal documents, family heirlooms, the few pieces of furniture that were mine before Mia. Everything is carefully packed and transported to a secure, climate-controlled storage unit I rented under a different name. The apartment begins to look sparse, but not empty enough to raise immediate alarm if someone were to peek in. By Sunday night, the sale is electronically finalized, pending the fund transfer. My escape is almost complete. Monday afternoon, my phone rings. It's Richard. His voice lacks its usual booming confidence. It's tighter, laced with anxiety. Mark, about that business opportunity we discussed. The tax structuring aspect, my partners are getting nervous about the upcoming audit cycle. We need to solidify our strategy, and frankly, we could use your firm's expertise, or rather, your discretion. Are you still interested in participating? The potential upside is significant, as I said. The pressure is on. He's not just offering now, he's needing my complicity. I let the silence hang for a beat. Richard, I appreciate you thinking of me. It sounds lucrative, but also complex. Let me review my notes. I pause, feigning consideration. Yes, I think I can see a way to assist. Let's discuss details later this week. Excellent, Mark, excellent. Knew I could count on you, he says, relief flooding his voice. After hanging up, I open a secure, anonymous web browser. I navigate to the state's Financial Regulatory Authority tip line. Carefully, methodically, I upload the recording of Richard boasting about his tax evasion schemes. I add details about the specific structures he mentioned, dates, potential partners involved, enough specific information to trigger a serious investigation, but nothing that traces directly back to me or my phone. I use a burner email address created for this sole purpose. Submit. Close browser. Wipe history. Another piece clicked into place. His attempt to ensnare me has become the instrument of his own potential ruin. Let the investigation begin. The atmosphere shifts subtly in the following weeks. When I walk into a room where Mia is talking with Eliza or Vanessa, conversations sometimes halt abruptly. Whispers die down. Eyes slide away. It's a familiar chill, one I remember from the first life. Back then, I'd attributed it to awkwardness, maybe paranoia on my part. Now I know better. I recall overhearing fragments then, snippets about Mia meeting with a recruiter, leveraging my contacts at a rival company without my knowledge, discussing how she'd manage the breakup once she secured the position she wanted. They weren't just covering for her affair. They were complicit in her plan to use me as a stepping stone, discarding me once I was no longer useful for her career advancement. The whispers now aren't just about Alex. They're about her future, a future that doesn't include me, built on my unwitting assistance. Let them whisper. Their plans are already obsolete. The annual company gala is a black tie affair, held in a swanky downtown hotel ballroom. Mia looks stunning in a deep emerald gown, clinging possessively to my arm. She thrives in these environments, networking effortlessly. Tonight, however, she seems a little on edge, casting quick glances around the room. My new boss from Sterling Chase, Mr. Harrison, is also in attendance. He sought me out earlier, congratulating me again on accepting the offer. Now I spot him across the room and steer Mia towards him. Mia, darling, I want you to meet David Harrison, I say smoothly. Mr. Harrison, this is my girlfriend, Mia. Harrison shakes her hand warmly. A pleasure, Mia. Mark speaks very highly of you. We're thrilled to have him joining the team. Joining the team? Mia repeats, her smile faltering slightly. Yes, I jump in casually. Sterling Chase made me that incredible offer we talked about, the one with the relocation package. We're still just considering it, of course. I lie easily, glancing at Mia with feigned thoughtfulness. Big decision, moving cities and all, but the opportunity is fantastic. Harrison beams. It certainly is. A major step up. The relocation support is top-notch, makes the transition seamless. Mia's face pales almost imperceptibly beneath her makeup. Her grip on my arm tightens. Relocation? Team. This isn't aligning with the narrative she's been constructing, the one where I remain the stable, predictable fixture in her city, while she explores her options. Panic flickers in her eyes. Good. Let her feel the ground shift beneath her feet. The call from Jake comes late on a Thursday night. His voice is frantic, bordering on hysterical. Mark? Mark, it's gone, everything. The investment, it tanked, completely wiped out. They declared bankruptcy this morning. The shares are worthless. Mark, the money, your money. It's all gone. He's gasping for breath. I let out a slow, measured sigh. Jake. Damn, that's awful news. Are you serious? Yes, it's a disaster. I don't know what to do. I owe people. I owe you. Mark, I'm ruined! Take a breath, man, I say, keeping my voice calm, sympathetic. Look, it was an investment. Investments have risks. We knew that going in. I pause, letting the implication hang. The money. Don't worry about it right now, okay? We'll figure something out. I make sure my tone conveys zero actual intention of forgiving the debt or offering further help. Let him stew in the mess he helped create. But how? He stammers. We'll talk later, Jake. I'm really sorry this happened. I hang up before he can plead further. What Jake doesn't know, what none of them know, is that my investment wasn't in the startup itself. Using foresight from my first life, I knew which larger, stable competitor would swoop in and acquire the startup's valuable patents out of bankruptcy for pennies on the dollar. My real investment, made quietly through a holding company tied to my newly established financial independence, was in that competitor. Jake's spectacular failure is indirectly contributing to my own quiet success. The irony is delicious. A week later, I'm not at my usual haunts. I'm stepping out of a gleaming black car in front of the Sovereign Club, an establishment so exclusive, so old money, that Mia, Eliza, Richard, and their entire circle wouldn't even know how to get past the discreetly guarded entrance. The doorman nods respectfully. Good evening, Mr. Evans. Inside, the atmosphere is hushed elegance. Dark wood paneling, plush leather chairs, the soft murmur of quiet conversations. I navigate the familiar space towards a private alcove where an older gentleman sits waiting, a crystal glass of amber liquid beside him. He looks up as I approach, his eyes sharp and intelligent beneath silver hair. Arthur Pendleton III, my grandfather's most trusted advisor, now mine, and the executor of the family trust. Mark, he greets me, his voice a low rumble. Good to see you. Drink? Just sparkling water, Arthur. Thank you. He signals a waiter. Everything proceeding as planned? Perfectly, I reply, taking the seat opposite him. Phase 1 complete. This is the truth I've guarded for years. The reason I tolerated the slights, the condescension, the feeling of being not quite enough. I am Mark Evans, yes, but I am also the sole heir to the Pendleton Industries fortune, a sprawling empire built generations ago. In my first life, after my parents' early deaths, I'd deliberately distanced myself from the family name and wealth. I wanted to make my own way, be loved for who I was, not what I represented. I craved authenticity, a life untouched by the complications and expectations of extreme wealth. I gave Mia and her circle the Mark Evans I thought they wanted. Successful enough, but relatable, manageable. Not the heir to a fortune that dwarfed Richard's aspirations. I wanted genuine connection, and I thought hiding my background was the way to achieve it. What a naive fool I was. They weren't interested in genuine connection. They were interested in utility, status, and what they could gain. My desire for authenticity made me the perfect target. The information you requested regarding the ancillary players has been compiled, Arthur says, sliding a thin, unmarked folder across the polished table. Eliza Moreau's husband, Thomas Moreau. Vanessa Hayes' prospective employer, funded significantly by Pendleton subsidiaries. Richard Sterling's less reputable dealings, beyond what you already uncovered. I open the folder. Crisp documents, discreetly obtained reports. Everything I need. My family's influence runs deep. Quiet tendrils reaching into corners of the city's business and social scenes that Richard and his ilk can only dream of. Excellent, I murmur, scanning the pages. Plausible deniability is key, Arthur. Of course, he replies. The sources are firewalled, the deliveries untraceable to us. Thomas Moreau will receive evidence of his wife's infidelity through channels that appear entirely random. Vanessa Hayes' job offer will be rescinded due to unforeseen budget restructuring after key funding partners express concerns relayed through intermediaries. And Richard Sterling will find regulatory bodies taking a sudden, intense interest in specific transactions, highlighted by an anonymous whistleblower citing publicly available, albeit obscure, filings. My past self would have agonized over using these resources, this power. It felt unfair. But the first life taught me fairness is a luxury predators don't afford their prey. They used my desire for normalcy against me. Now I use the reality I hid from them to ensure they face consequences for their actions. It's not about revenge anymore. Not entirely. It's about restoring a balance they so callously disrupted. It's about ensuring they can't hurt anyone else the way they hurt me. Thank you, Arthur, I say, closing the folder. Let's proceed. He nods, taking a slow sip of his drink. Consider it done. The machinery of my hidden life whirs quietly into motion, setting the stage for the final act. They thought they knew Mark Evans. They have no idea who they're dealing with. The notification arrives like a quiet thunderclap. Funds transferred, $X, text X, X.XX from property sale escrow. The apartment sale closed faster and for a higher price than even Sarah, the agent, had predicted. A testament to motivated buyers, and perhaps the subtle influence of Pendleton connections ensuring a smooth transaction. I immediately wire Mia her legal share. Exactly what she's entitled to, based on the duration of our cohabitation and the initial joint funds used, meticulously calculated to preempt any legal challenge. No note, no explanation, just a cold, hard transfer notification hitting her account. Let the sudden, unexplained windfall confuse her. Let her wonder where it came from, and, more importantly, where the rest of it went. The significantly larger portion representing my initial inheritance contribution, which is now safely nestled in my private account. Her confusion is a small dividend on the pain she caused. The following afternoon, while Mia is out for what she claimed was lunch with Vanessa, I know from her phone's location data she's actually meeting Alex at a discreet hotel bar across town. I execute the final stage of my departure. 2 suitcases stand packed by the door. Not filled with everything, just the essentials. The items that are truly mine, untainted by shared memories or her touch. My clothes, important documents, a few books, a watch my father gave me. I walk through the sparsely furnished apartment one last time. The expensive art she picked out hangs on the walls. The designer furniture she coveted sits arranged just so. Gifts I gave her are displayed on shelves. I leave it all. Every gift, every shared purchase, every reminder of the life I thought we were building. They are props from a play that has ended. I take nothing that symbolizes the illusion. No note, no dramatic farewell. Just absence. I lock the door behind me for the last time. The click of the deadbolt echoing in the suddenly cavernous space. Mia returns hours later, likely flushed from her rendezvous with Alex. She walks into an apartment that feels subtly wrong. The missing suitcases, the gaps on the bookshelves, the absence of my coat, my shoes, my presents. Panic begins to bloom. Her calls start immediately, hitting my voicemail, which I've set to silent. One call after another, increasingly frantic. Mark? Where are you? What's going on? Why is some of your stuff missing? Call me. Then, another notification hits her phone. A message from Alex, then another. She tries to reply, only to find she's blocked. Blocked on text, blocked on social media, blocked everywhere. While she was calling me, anonymous messages, containing curated evidence of her simultaneous friendship with Jake and potentially others, carefully omitting my own knowledge or involvement, were delivered to Alex. Enough to make him realize he wasn't the only secret, enough to make him cut ties immediately and definitively. Her backup plan just imploded. And then, the email notification from the bank regarding the large deposit from the apartment sale finally registers, followed by the dawning, sickening realization that the apartment, her apartment, in her mind, has been sold without her knowledge. The foundation of her carefully constructed world crumbles in a matter of minutes. The messages start flooding in over the next few days, a desperate chorus from the ruins. Jake. Mark, please call me. I'm screwed. They're calling in loans. My credit is shot. I might lose my car, my apartment. I need help, man. Anything, please. Remember when I helped you move? Remember Vegas? Buddy? Eliza. Mark? Tom knows. I don't know how, but he knows everything. He's talking divorce, lawyers. He got some anonymous email. Was that you? How could you? My life is falling apart. Mia said you left? What is going on? We need to talk. Richard, Mark, I need to see you, immediately. There are inquiries, serious ones, about the Sterling Group's finances. This is bad, potentially ruinous. That information I shared, it was confidential. If you leaked, we had an understanding. Call me, now. Vanessa. Mark, WTF? I just lost the biggest job offer of my career. They said funding got pulled last minute. Mia said you introduced her to Harrison at Sterling Chase? Did you sabotage me? How could you be so petty, after everything? And Mia said you sold the apartment and just left? You owe us an explanation. Each message vibrates with shock, anger, and a dawning, desperate understanding. Their connection to the nice, predictable, vanilla Mark Evans had a value they never appreciated until it was gone. The safety net, the financial stability, the social connections, the ignorance they relied upon, all withdrawn. They find me, eventually, not through any skill of their own, but because Arthur arranged for my new address, a sleek, minimalist penthouse apartment in a building that requires biometric access, to be subtly leaked through a mutual acquaintance they pressured. They arrived together, a united front of desperation. Mia, tear-streaked and furious. Jake, looking haggard and broken. Eliza, pale and trembling. Richard, his face a mask of barely contained rage. Vanessa, radiating indignation. Security buzzes me from the lobby. Mr. Evans, there are several individuals here requesting to see you. A Miss Sterling, a Mr. Send them up, Carlos, I say calmly. Let them have their stage. The elevator doors open, and they spill out into my spacious living room, the floor-to-ceiling windows offering a panoramic view of the city they thought they owned. The contrast between their disheveled desperation and the serene luxury of my new life is stark. Mark! Mia bursts out first, her voice choked. How could you? Just leave? Sell our home? Without a word. It wasn't our home, Mia, not really. And the funds were primarily mine, I state quietly, my voice devoid of the anger they expect. The money you lent me, Jake starts, stepping forward, hands outstretched pleadingly. Mark, I need... That was an investment, Jake, I interrupt smoothly. It didn't pay off. That's the risk. You ruined my marriage, Eliza cries, tears streaming down her face. Tom, he won't even speak to me. Your choices ruined your marriage, Eliza, not me. My company, the investigation. Richard steps forward, his voice low and menacing. You leaked that information, didn't you? After I trusted you. Trust is earned, Richard. You seemed to view our potential partnership as leverage. And my job, Vanessa chimes in, hands on her hips. You cost me that job because you were jealous of Mia or something? Business decisions are complex, Vanessa. Sometimes funding priorities change. They stand there, stunned by my calm, my lack of engagement in the drama they've brought to my door. The accusations turn to apologies, then to pleas. Mia speaks of love, of second chances. Jake talks about loyalty, about needing his friend. Eliza and Vanessa appeal to shared history, to misunderstanding. Richard attempts veiled threats mixed with promises of making things right. It's a pathetic, predictable performance. I listen patiently, letting their words hang in the air. When they finally fall silent, breathless and expectant, I look at each of them in turn. Mia, Jake, Eliza, Richard, Vanessa, the architects of my past misery. No, I say. The word is quiet, simple, absolute. Confusion flickers across their faces. No, Mia whispers. No second chances, no help, no explanations beyond the ones you already know in your hearts. You made your choices. You treated me according to what you thought I was worth. You were wrong. I gesture towards the elevator. Security will escort you out. As Carlos, the discreet security guard, steps forward, Mia makes one last, desperate appeal. Mark, please, what about us? I walk over to a small box on a side table. Inside rests the engagement ring I once gave her. I pick it up, hold it out to her. You can keep this, I say, my voice even. Consider it payment for the education you've given me. Her face crumples. The others stare, speechless. They are escorted out, their protests and pleas fading down the hallway. The elevator doors close, sealing them out of my life. I stand alone in the quiet apartment, the city lights glittering below. There is no triumph, no elation, just a profound, quiet emptiness that feels, finally, like peace. 1 year later. The sun dips towards the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange, pink, and gold. I sit on the balcony of my beach house, the gentle rhythm of waves washing ashore a soothing soundtrack. The air tastes of salt and freedom. A notification pings softly on my tablet resting on the table beside my drink. A news headline. Sterling Group files for bankruptcy following regulatory penalties. Another details Eliza Moreau's contentious divorce, finalized, assets limited. I glance at the headlines, feel a flicker of nothing. Not satisfaction, not pity, not even curiosity, just detachment. I swipe the notifications away without opening the articles. Their dramas, their self-inflicted wounds, are no longer my concern. The anger, the burning need for retribution that fueled me for so long has cooled, leaving behind a quiet calm. Letting go wasn't a single act, but a gradual process, like the tide slowly receding, revealing the clean sand beneath. The bulk of my time, and a significant portion of the Pendleton resources I now embrace, are channeled into a new venture, the Phoenix Foundation. Its mission is simple: to help people rebuild their lives after experiencing profound betrayal and financial loss caused by deception. We offer counseling, legal aid, financial guidance, and seed funding for new beginnings. It's not about fixing the past, but empowering people to build a different future. Tonight, I have dinner plans. The Foundation's first major recipient is joining me, Sarah Vance. Her story echoed my own in painful ways. A partner who drained her savings, a business associate who stole her ideas, friends who stood by and watched. Helping her navigate the legal complexities, regain her footing, and launch her own small consulting firm felt right. Meaningful in a way the intricate plots against Mia and the others never truly did. She reminds me of who I was. Trusting, perhaps a bit naive, but fundamentally decent. There's a strength in her resilience that I admire. As I get ready, Showering off the salt and sand, I catch my reflection. The lines of bitterness around my eyes have softened. The guarded tension in my shoulders is gone. The cycle of betrayal, the meticulously planned revenge. It wasn't the victory I thought it would be. The real victory wasn't tearing them down. It was walking away and building something better, something genuine, in the space they vacated. My revenge wasn't the calculated destruction of their lives, but the construction of my own. A life where they simply cease to exist, rendered irrelevant by my own peace and purpose. Before leaving for dinner, I pick up my phone. I navigate to my blocked contacts list. 5 names stare back at me. Mia Sterling, Jake Riley, Eliza Moreau, Richard Sterling, Vanessa Hayes. Icons of a past life, ghosts in the machine. With a final, decisive tap, I select Delete All. The names vanish. My last digital connection to that chapter is severed. I step back out onto the balcony, looking out at the endless expanse of the ocean merging with the darkening sky. The horizon stretches, vast and full of possibility. A deep sense of gratitude washes over me, not for the pain, but for the brutal clarity it forced upon me. The lesson was harsh, the tuition steep, but the peace it bought? Priceless. I am finally free,